Land-based ballistic missiles, submarine-launched weaponry, and bombs that can be deployed from aircraft. These are some of the weapons in Russia's vast nuclear arsenal, seen here on display in training drills, before Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine.
The strategic systems, they have intercontinental range, and so they can hit anywhere on the globe.
While the US doesn't communicate much on its nuclear weapons, Russia has been showcasing its advances.
Вот под этой самой крышкой универсальной пусковой установки и находится гиперзвуковой циркон.
After President Putin ordered Moscow's nuclear deterrence forces to be put on alert in late February, the Pentagon said it had not detected any major new developments on that front. Many analysts say it's unlikely the weapons will be used in warfare, although it can't be ruled out. But Moscow could use its arsenal as a deterrent to discourage the US and its allies from taking more action in the Ukraine war. So here's what we know about Russia's nuclear inventory, the largest in the world, and Putin's push to modernize it. When it comes to scale, Russia and the US have a similar number of nuclear weapons. According to an estimate by the Federation of American Scientists, Russia's warhead inventory totals 5,977. In comparison, the US has 5,428. Those numbers are similar, also due to international arms control agreements to limit the size of each country's nuclear stockpile. At the heart of Moscow's arsenal is what military experts call the nuclear triad. The US also has nuclear triad status, while China has been working to achieve the same advanced version in recent years. In principle, Russia's weapons can be delivered by air with strategic bombers such as the Tu-95MS and Tu-160, by its navy with nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, and by land-based ballistic launchers, such as this RS-24 Yars. The explosive force of atomic bombs is measured in kilotons, and warheads on these weapons have a power of as much as 400 kilotons, according to defense analysts. That's more than 25 times the atomic bomb the US used in Hiroshima, Japan at the end of World War II. Days after the first bomb was released, another was dropped on Nagasaki, seen here in this footage in 1945. It became the last atomic bomb to be used in combat. Since then, countries have built up arsenals as a deterrent for conflict. The US and Russia created their vast stockpiles during the Cold War.
But our restraint is not inexhaustible.
More recently, and decades after the end of that Cold War, Moscow is again touting that its intercontinental ballistic missiles are capable of hitting the US in 20 to 30 minutes. Hans Christensen is the director of the Nuclear Information Project and has been studying nuclear weapons for decades. He says long-range missiles are the most powerful elements in Russia's arsenal.
And if that was released, it could destroy all major cities.
The US also has missiles capable of potentially hitting Russia within a similar time frame. In addition, both countries have stockpiles of non-strategic nuclear weapons, which are usually defined as shorter-range delivery systems with lower-yield warheads. But analysts note as the US has been scaling back its stockpile of these weapons over the last 3 decades, Russia has largely kept its inventory.
We think the US has only a small inventory of a few hundred tactical nuclear bombs that are left. This has been an important development in the US arsenal evolution because they used to have, like Russia, a huge inventory of non-strategic, but they've largely moved away from that in the US planning.
Russia is modernizing some Soviet-era weapons, which analysts say is a routine step in order to maintain the readiness of older tools. It's also developing newer weapons that have been publicized by Russian President Vladimir Putin and on Russian state TV.
Ее длина около 9 метров, а диаметр 60 сантиметров.
Zircon is one of 6 nuclear weapons Putin revealed the country was developing in March 2018. Others included underwater nuclear-powered uncrewed vehicles and nuclear-powered global-range cruise missiles. Analysts say it's hard to determine what stage of development they are currently at. Unlike the US, Russia has been sharing its nuclear capabilities on state TV and online media. Wary of stoking tensions as war rages in Ukraine, US officials even canceled a scheduled weapon test, although other exercises continued. In mid-March, the US Air Force conducted drills with B-52 bombers, capable of carrying nuclear missiles. But to use nuclear weapons would be a significant step. Some experts say Putin may turn to non-strategic bombs if cornered in this war. However, the bar is high for any potential deployment, and it's unlikely that Russia will use them at all.
It's one thing to rattle the sword and warn your adversaries that you have this capability by doing exercises or increasing alert or something like that. It's another step to actually use nuclear weapons, because once you do, all bets are off in terms of how destructive this new phase is going to be.
The buildup and showcasing of new weapons during the Ukraine war reminds some of the Cold War era, a period when the US and Russia used ownership of nuclear forces as a defense amid heightened tensions.